look at the Fintechs now and see how they're doing, both for ESG and other current economic issues in Nigeria. We have the Group Managing Director of Chance Holding Company PLC, Mrs. Mayo Alanyo. She joins us in the studio. Mr. Alanyo, good morning, and thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're just talking about ESG there, although that report was focusing on, banking and insurance. But are you guys in the Fintechs, are you conscious of ESG, sustainable operations, checking the environment, governance, and socials?
Yes, of course, because we actually need this for sustainability. Everyone in the fintech industry working on it. Currently, we are doing a lot in the area of ESG.
So, like, what are you changing your source of power, or just to see if it's a practical thing in the fintech space?
Yes, it's also going by what currently happening in the economy. Changing the source of power is not something that one actually needs to contemplate, but it's something you need to go for right now. We're changing the source of power to make sure that we're complying with the ESG, and other governance aspects of it are actually being looked into as well.
Okay, so you did allude to the state of the economy at this time. But I mean, this is the day of AI and technology taking over the world. So you guys should be flourishing at this time.
Of course, we are. Fintech are indeed flourishing because of the resilience despite the economic challenges. But at the same time, every sector has its own challenges.
What are some of your challenges at Fintech?
Okay. In Fintechs, you look at the economic challenges. We are currently what we are going through. The cyber issue that is going a lot of billions of naira that the companies has been losing to the cyber security. Yeah, it's quite all right. Government is doing something a lot in that area. We give it to them, but it would be preferred if you can see more proactive approach to prevent it rather than to combat it. That is one of the things that is affecting the fintech. When we look at the policy as well, Fintech is even having a lot of issues that government needs to improve on the policy by carrying the fintech company along for proper implementation of this policy in such a way that it will be a cushion to the company rather than impacting the operation. So, and a lot of more in terms of infrastructure as well. We have some little glitch in that area as well. Payment infrastructure needs to be further advanced.
Payment infrastructure these days. Perhaps you can give us a background of what's going on. It's been really, difficult using a lot of the banking apps these days. What's going on? I know it's not the rain.
Yes, the fact of the matter is that it's one of the challenges that the fintech is meant to provide solution to. But, there's supposed to be a platform and support from government to see it. I admit to the fact that the payment infrastructure is still being developed. We have some in the place, but currently the infrastructure, the network, the internet, the cyber security, all these put together form the infrastructure facility that's required for seamless payment. And these are the areas that the country itself is having some challenges, and Fintech is coming in. They are the platform for the Fintech to operate. So we are working on this vis-a-vis with the government to improve the standard for seamless payment.
Please tell us how you're working with the government. Are you in talks? Do we have plans? Because you guys are supposed to prefer solution to this, and the private sector especially, because government will tell you, especially at this time, revenue is squeezed. I mean, we're still discussing minimum wage. We don't know where the number will head to. So the private sector is supposed to come in. So tell us the kind of conversations you're having with the government to deal with this, especially now, the payment system. I mean, people are losing money.
Yeah, there's a lot of ongoing conversation. But the private sector will not work in isolation, and hence there's need for partnership with the government. The largest payment infrastructure today is NIPS, and you see all the private the fintechs, the banking sectors are connected to it. And that is where we uncheck for both private and the government to work together to ensure seamless payment.
So, I mean, you are a name in the fintech industry, especially being a woman, the first group managing director of Charms, and, you know, you're listed. So you do have a lot of edge. Do you have conversations with these people? Do we have hope anytime soon?
Sure, there's hope anytime soon. We have hope. We have conversation with them, as I've said earlier, and individual organizations. You can imagine the number of switching companies we have as of today. We don't have this 5 years back. If you look back 5 years time, we don't have so. But today we have a lot of private complementing the efforts of government fair NIPS. Government is developing NIPS, the bank Habari are coming on their own, Charm Switch is there coming up, and the Ilogene is there coming up, you know, in order to make sure that there is a robust infrastructure payment platform for the fintech sector.
Well, it sounds like we still have to wait a bit, but I mean, I just hope this, you know, the glitch we're having these days on the payment platform is really very discouraging. You know, people are scared of using their apps and money is being lost and all of that. So I do hope that that's sorted out real soon. Now let's look at, you wanted to say something about that?
Yes, there's a lot of work going on the reconciliation aspect of it, and to be able to smoothen the process in such a way that the private can actually do end-to-end remittance. So very soon that will be over.
Oh, tell me about that, the end-to-end remittance. So we need to go through NIPS, is that what you're saying?
No. They will still have to go through NIPS, but a lot will be done at the back end before you get to the NIPS. So it will be that you have the inward through the NIPS and the outward will be from the private sector.
So yes, that's ongoing.
We are
now
trying to uncheck, yeah, that is ongoing. So very soon you will have a seamless transaction.
We're looking forward.
We will improve upon what is going on.
We're looking forward to that. Yeah. But let's look at the sector of fintechs generally.
Okay.
Preferring solution at a time like this, turning lime to lemonade, you know, and all of that. Your contribution to the GDP, what are your prospects this year?
Well, Fintechs has actually done a lot in that. Compared to other sectors in the economy, you will see that Fintech alone has contributed over 40% to the economic GDP, and there's a lot more to be done. As I've said, that we're working on the improving on the platform, definitely this is going to create a lot of more jobs for people. You expect more engineers to be developed. You expect more transactions, more inclusion, and going to the more rural area, which is actually one of the major objectives of the fintechs. So there will be more activity, more transaction, more revenue to the government, more new entrepreneurs coming up in the fintech industry for them to improve on the GDP. Yes.
So that sounds good. What about employment? The fintech space, do you have like an intentional plan, you know, to train the young ones, to adopt them into the space, or do people just go and do trial and error?
Yeah, it's good to do trial and error, but fintech is a specialized, and I'm not sure if that will go away. But currently, there are a lot of fintech hubs, a lot of training centers, where capacity has been developed to train people. I think currently, we even say, if I have to refer to one of the marketing reports that says that coming 2025, fintech will have provided about 3 million jobs, new jobs in Africa.
2025 is next year?
It's next year. There will have been about 3 million new jobs that will have been created. To achieve this, definitely there are different hubs where capacity are being developed, people are being trained, a lot of activities are coming in that will employ this. And currently, you can see that Nigeria is actually a talent pool already, where we have a lot of capacity people moving to the current. It's because they are trained, because they are developed. If they are not developed, the other country, the developed country, won't come to take our own talents that are developed, our youth to that place. So a lot of institutions are actually dwelling on that, training the graduates, enable that they acquire the required capacity to become a competent engineer that are good for fit in fintech industry. And I'm sure that will continue to progress as we can.
All right, just before I let you, I just wanted to get your, I hope this is not like taking us back, the cybersecurity levy, because you did say that cybersecurity is a huge threat to the fintech sector in the country. Are we doing well? A lot of Nigerians are happy that, of course, that cybersecurity levy has been paused, even though it's gone through, you know, being a law. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a need? So, since you said that cybersecurity is a threat.
Yes. Well, maybe I'll have to thank Mr. President for pausing the cybersecurity. It is a threat, as I've said. Government is doing a lot on that. We appreciate the collaboration between the government and the fintech sector in order to combat this. But the preferred approach will have been to prevent it. And this has to do with the infrastructure. If ab initio there is a developed and a standard infrastructure coupled with the security, definitely that can go in a long way to reduce it. Rather than levy, there's so many ways that government is earning from fintech infrastructure. So coming up with that will definitely affect people, and that is why you saw a lot of reactions. And again, thanks to Mr. President for pausing it. If we continue, there is opportunity for the fintech to continue expanding. I'm confident that the government will earn a lot. Fair transfer fee, fair taxes, and other fee that will enable them to be able to fight cybercrime instead of coming up with additional fee, which will be additional burden on customer. Of course, you and I.
Of course, and then we will run away from the cyberspace. Thank you so much, Group Managing Director of Charms Holding Company PLC, Mr. Mayowa Olaniyan.
Thank you so much.
Olaniyan.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll do a bit of markets before we head back to Sunrise Daily.